allow the two
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic, and if we talk, na 500,000 they go sama us call am hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people wey dey spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one na dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Can he dey touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be dey holla say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get it higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Person wey dey do evil no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too dey talk. He too dey talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. lórí YouTube àní ẹ̀sùn lájú bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́ àní ẹ̀sùn lájú bíjò ìgbádìyẹ àní ẹ̀sùn lájú bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Hello there, brethren. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you, and good evening to you as well from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. Thank you very much for joining me. After reading the caption of the broadcast, please do read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it. You see that thumb underneath the video, right? Like it, share it, invite your friends, and your not so friendly friends, your frenemies, tell them to join us. You know, they may actually pick one or two things that may help them too. So we have a lot of catch up to do. So we're going to start this from the statement of Oshi-omo-ole, the Edo senator who was present at the screening of the supposed successor to the man that Dangote wanted jailed for corruption. And, you know, it's not just for corruption. I think it's also, he wanted him to be actually also jailed for sabotaging the oil industry in Nigeria. And that is Mallam Farouk Hammed. So the guy who was the head of the NMDPRA, okay, you probably know the story, right? So he eventually resigned and they nominated the replacement. So discussing what is believed to have been a snippet from what Dangote revealed, because Dangote went as far as, you know, filing a petition at the ICPC, as well as suing the same, NMDPRA or so, because of this Farouk for corruption. So Oshiomole believes that with what this guy has done, the damages, the ruin, the sabotage, is not just meant to walk away like that. In fact, he should be hung. Here is where we're going to start from this evening, because we do probably have a longer evening, if I must tell you, right? Please share the broadcast. Let's start with this.
It bears repeating to congratulate, particularly Madam, because there is no question, sir, that this issue about women empowerment and equality is an issue in Nigeria. So I commend the President for finding you worthy of being appointed. And Mohammed, looking at your CV, you are all qualified. The issue for me is not qualification. It's your policy choices. And that is where I would like to learn from you. Everywhere in the world, the nation state make deliberate effort to protect local industries, not because we like the owners of those industries, but because we want to create jobs for Nigerian people. Those jobs will not be achieved by whipping for the jobless. It is by supporting businesses, particularly manufacturers that are labor intensive, like refineries. Over the years, NNPC, which you were a part of, invited and issued refinery licenses to so many. Fortunately, we have had one big one, and others not so big, and some modular refineries. Unfortunately, access to crude by these small modular refineries has been an issue. And your predecessor that was removed, and I celebrated it last night, he needed to be hanged. In my previous statement, I said, if we don't hang him, he will hang Nigeria. Because anyone who is opposed to jobs being created in Nigeria, who prefer importation, importing poverty here and exporting our prosperity abroad, do not deserve to live. I want to see how his case will be pursued to conclusion. With you, sir, having been in the industry, and I imagine in your heart, you lament that refineries that worked before. I was in Kaduna. Many of my relations were getting jobs and contracts, LPO, to the Kaduna refinery. They are all dead. Now that you are here, and in view of the very shameful performance and policy choices of your predecessor, will you be informed by the spirit of patriotism and the details of jobs for Nigeria, not the details of the owners of refineries, the people who work there, who are our brothers and sisters, our children who learn chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, etc. What step will you take to balance national interests with this idea of run down the country so that you can import and people who are adding no value make money without effort? But I want to congratulate you and more importantly salute our president for acting properly without allowing for a vacuum. And I'm still going to drink tonight because of the removal of Farouk.
Already baked the cake, let me put the icing. Straight to the point. Engineer Aliu, sir, what will you do different? Your predecessor did not do well. It's on record. What will you do different? Number one. Two, Mr. Chairman, we are in Dangote refinery early this month. We have seen a lot of things, we hear a lot of things. And I can assure you, Nigerians like me, I'm close to the ground, I'm already on the ground. And he that is on the ground, fear no fall. I want you to tell us here, what are you going to tell Nigerians, what are you going to do different with what the SAC predecessor did to correct that impression, because there are negative impression about that. Number two, ma. Number three, over to you, ma. You are an experienced person, according to my distinguished colleague, Ekpeyo. You are predecessor to 0/0. When you go in there, we want to see difference and be friend to the stakeholders, especially the committee. Your predecessor, let me call it the Komolafe, has no any relationship. He is above everybody. And I will join you, sir, this evening to drink on his removal. It's not sack. This one is just, no, there is not, they are sack, not resigned. Sack. That is it. Thank you.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Those are the clowns that are seated in authority to make decisions that will eventually affect millions of people. Interest. To start with Oshi-omo-ole, his own angst too is pretty much like Farouk possibly wasn't favorable to them and the committee, which is on petroleum. So therefore, it wasn't like it didn't resign. It was actually sacked. That's their own impression. Then it was premising again his position on the fact that what Dangote released, and none of this has been proven. None of this has been proven by anything, right? Yet. But with these guys, they say he's on record. Like he didn't do well, this and that, okay? But immediately they are already positioning themselves, okay, to be favored by these new incoming guys by pointing out what, contributed to the removal of their predecessors. Still self-centered. But yeah, we started with that. Another catch-up we have to do, just before we get into other details this evening, right, is what happened in Burkina Faso. For the past few days, we have had people who have taken sides, those who felt like it was an insult for Burkina Faso to have detained Nigeria's military jets, and including the 11 personnel on board. Others felt like, no, it was actually an insult on Burkina Faso. For Nigeria, who knew, believed to have known that the AES airspace is restricted, right, including to Nigeria, and they could have easily avoided it. So both for and against, especially for those who are like against what happened in Burkina Faso, they wanted Nigeria to show the might as the giant of Africa, right? So that countries like Burkina Faso would never, ever dare, to provoke Nigeria again. I was like, who provoked who? Your aircraft violated their airspace, and they took action, then you are like what? Provoked. Anyway, behind the scene, the rumor, well, that one is not behind the scene. The rumor started flying that this personnel will be tried, okay, for international espionage, which means they were spying on the country. And if they were found guilty, of course, they will receive a death sentence. Rumor, okay? However, again, behind the scene, the Nigerian authority, including their foreign affairs minister, Tagat, right, went to Ouagadougou, that is in Burkina Faso, to meet with Traore, where they pleaded their case, like as usual. And I think, well, that is what I believe was needed, right? So that meeting yielded good result because 24 hours after that, the personnel, the aircraft, the personnel were getting ready to leave the country. I call it a catch-up before the real thing. Here, watch.
Well, first of all, I'm leading a delegation sent here by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Tout d'abord, je conduis une délégation envoyée par le président Bola Ahmed Tinubu, président de la République fédérale du Nigeria, afin de livrer un message au président Ibrahim Traore. Un message de fraternité, un message de solidarité d'un pays africain à un autre. Nous avons discuté de plusieurs sujets en lien avec la sécurité de notre région, en l'occurrence la lutte contre le terrorisme, sur la manière dont nous devons lutter ensemble contre les fléaux. Nous avons aussi discuté sur des sujets relatifs à l'avion nigérien qui a opéré un atterrissage d'urgence au Burkina Faso après avoir subi une avarie. C'est déplorable qu'il y ait eu des irrégularités dans les documents, notamment sur les autorisations de survol de l'espace burkinabé. Cela est regrettable et nous nous excusons sur cet incident malheureux. Nous avons aussi évoqué le sujet d'un leader d'un parti nigérien qui fait des commentaires disgracieux concernant cet incident. Cela est lié sans doute à une incompréhension de la situation. Le président Traoré, le gouvernement du Burkina Faso et le peuple burkinabé ont été très accueillants et disposés à nous accompagner. L'équipage a été très bien traité. Cela saute aux yeux et c'est évident que le président Traoré était directement informé sur la prise en charge de l'équipage depuis que celui-ci est arrivé au Burkina Faso. Cela souligne le niveau de fraternité et de solidarité qui existe entre deux nations africaines. Bien sûr, nous avons évoqué aussi des points sur comment nous pouvons collaborer aussi bien avec d'autres pays de la région sur la lutte contre le terrorisme. Le Burkina Faso a enregistré des succès significatifs en la matière. Donc, il y a des leçons à tirer sur ce volet évident.
I don't want you to forget, in case if you don't understand French, at least you could actually use your own instinct to merge the words together and you could make sense of what they're saying, right? He was there addressing the Burkina Faso TV or media by trying to tell them that Nigeria and Burkina Faso, they are, in solidarity. That means they are like friends. They, they share lots in common, especially their fight against all this terrorism in the Sahel region, in the area of security, in the area of friendship, and as Africans, African unity, the blah, when the entire AES countries, right, are very much aware the role Nigeria is playing right now with France in continue the destabilization of these countries. Do you get what I mean? They want all these guys in these countries, like all these guys are running things there. They want them out. And a few times Nigeria, under this Tinubu, they've shared their threats against them through ECOWAS. They've threatened them. They sanctioned them. They are still under sanctions. And you're going there to tell them about African solidarity, African unity, cooperation in this or that. But that's not true. But on the part of Traore, by the way, right? We are a gentleman sort of agreement. Let them go. But don't do this anymore. So for the first time, we got to see the faces of these personnel, right, who have been detained for more than 10 days now.
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, the head of the government delegation from the President, federal government, and the DGMA of the government. I want to see
Surely, yeah. Video. Okay.
Happy and elated to see you in good health. And we bring warm greetings and felicitations from His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has been very concerned about the situation. Has been been in touch with the since what had transpired. And today, when we arrived in Mallam, we met with President Ibrahim Traore and very meaningful discussions. And I'm happy to inform you that this situation will be resolved. And he has assured us that unless somebody wants to remain behind you're set to go back home. So apologize for any inconvenience. These things happen as you know. This is why it's good to have good diplomatic relations with all countries. And you know Nigeria has no enemies in the world. So the matter has been resolved and addressed. And all we would look forward to is hear from you if the plane is in a condition to fly back. And then, decide what we do was that. If not, President Traore and been offered to assist in fixing any technical issues in the house so that it will be able to convey you back. Happy to see you once again. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. We're really happy to see faces from Nigeria after such a long time. For now, we'll not be able to see whether the aircraft is able to fly yet until we get there with the engineers, because the issue that made us to land in the first place, we finished resolving it, but we had not intended to start. So we have been resolved before we to close to what we supposed to do it to other aircraft. So hopefully we'll get the aircraft to the aircraft, and I believe we have a lot of experienced people as well. Whatever issue it is, I'm sure we'll.
So that was yesterday. And today, they have been seen or spotted in Ghana. So which means they finally fixed their aircraft and they've been able to fly to Ghana, where it is now said they will continue their journey to Portugal. You possibly have seen this clip.
Please, stand there so that you will appear properly. Okay, gentlemen.
So that is a good news, isn't it? That they have been safely evacuated from the country that detained them for over a week. Now back to Nigeria. Yesterday, currently, APC, they are holding their own party convention or something. And this is being held, in Abuja, of course, right? And I think it's actually in the banquet hall of the Asshole Rock. So practically, Asshole Rock is more or less like the APC, Bekebe's headquarters. So they hold their party stuff in there, right? So Koolu was talking to, again, this is what the normal people from Lagos we called, Ege, dribble. For those who are very familiar with this game, right? So Koolu was telling the supposed large sort of congregation of his own party leadership, including state governors, deputies, and all of them, right? So he sat before them and he was telling them about why this time around they have to do something about the local government autonomy. You know what I mean? They have to do something about the state police. Similar things that he actually said almost same time last year. Hang on. It's almost going to be 2 years. By February next year, that's 2 months away, right? It is going to make it like 2 exact years that the Supreme Court of Nigeria delivered that judgment. And the person who initiated the case was Tinubu's Attorney General, Fagbemi. Now, Fagbemi sued all the state, all the state governors and what have you, so that they would allow the local government to receive their own money. But it also needs what is called, legislative kind of like a constitutional amendment, so to say. Then after that, I think 2 months or so later, Koolu published what he called the executive order. Executive order. From now on, all the local governments in Nigeria will be receiving their money. By the time Koolu did 2 years in office in May this year, they already listed local government autonomy as part of Tinubu's achievements, like the problem of insecurity, right? Before Tinubu, the president of the country is considered as the person who is responsible for issue of insecurity. Say all the the box stops unstable. But when Tinubu, it actually started from Bukwari anyway. So APC, Egbekebe today, they are now saying that the security of Nigerians and the rest of that is not so. Wholly the responsibility of Tinubu. What is your state governor doing? So similarly, Tinubu that is taking the medal, put a medal on himself that he has granted local government autonomy. It's part of his achievement. They've listed it as part of his achievement, by the way. Local government autonomy. Today, rather than hold him responsible for that, right? They just go back to the governors and say, the governors will not allow it. There are the problems. Now, Tinubu controls the National Assembly. As it is right now, they control the National Assembly, Senate, and the reps. Tinubu controls at least now nearly 30 state governments. And that's APC. I'm using Tinubu because APC is Tinubu now. Tinubu is APC now, something like that, right? You barely could differentiate between them, right? So They met, and as usual, okay, it was wrapping them. We're going to go to what happened today, but this was yesterday.
Welcome all of us again and again and again. The development in the party. This is the highest body. And you have to navigate this country. Whether we like it or not, you are in the leadership position that must yield and continue to promote, tolerate, and be flexible. Get involved in whatever is happening in your various states up to local government level. I had a very long discussion with the US and European. I was bragging to them that definitely we will pass a state police to improve security. They asked me if I'm confident, and I say yes. I have a party to depend on. I have a party that will make it happen. And if at this level we fail, God forbid, we will not fail. So I think the reconciliation, the accommodation, the flexibility is in your hands, all of you. And we are the majority. We are the leaders. Let us equally look at the recent Supreme Court judgment. What can we do with it? And how well we can position our country and our party. To me, the local government autonomy it is and must be effective. Let us give them. There is no autonomy without funded mandates. We'll give them their money directly. That's the truth. That's compliance with the Supreme Court. Take the leadership seriously. I will turn to Bayelsa to appeal to to accept our condolences for the deputy governorship demise. May so rest in peace. And let's continue to pray for our country and work together. We need more women in this caucus. I think we should make provisions for that. Patricia Ete, so
Koolu. Don't worry. It's not all boring. Okay? But like I said, like somebody actually pointed out, just word salad. Supreme Court ruled that local government allocation should be paid straight directly to the local governments. That's the ruling of the Supreme Court. You don't need anybody's opinion after that. And if Tinubu indeed is Mr. Strategist who wants better for Nigeria and not just politics, because right now the bubble is about to burst. We are going to be here when it happens. You get what I mean? So everybody, all these criminals, they are found sanctuary. Election riggers and the rest of them, they found sanctuary. So people won't really matter anymore. He is managed within 2.5 years to push Nigeria straight to a one-party state, something that they are going to put to test in your 2027 charade. So it's got all the control. Like, if anybody has any plan to change a country in this capacity politically, if you have any plan of changing a country, there is no better chance than a chance or a time or a period like this. You want to fight corruption? You want to end insecurity like the terrorism? You want to develop your country? You want budget transparency, accountability, and what have you, right? There is no better time than when you have everyone under your fingertips, when they can do whatever you want them to do. Or better still, it is not actually as it appears. Let me explain that. For those who have possibly studied the Tinubu and his way of, style of politics, right? He understands the vanity of, this power, this money, power, and the rest of that, and how much people, right, hover around you if they believe that they can actually benefit directly from you. So in this instance, politically, so that is why you can possibly see him with somebody who said all the horrible things. Because to Tinubu, right, the moment, even if he said horrible things about him, right, it doesn't matter. The moment you come around, it is the perspective that matters. Do you understand? Like, when everybody feels like, oh, people seems to hate him a lot. But when they see him around, they kind of hover around him and start praising him. When they have the chance of saying it to his face, whatever they said behind him, they suddenly just cowered. And eventually, so he understands that so well. And there is no real authority in that. It is a give and take thing. Do you understand? It's a give and it needs to also give in to their own, to these guys' vanity. Those who wants to remain governors, or those who wants to keep their loot, or those who want to, enjoy the patronage here and there. They don't care if the entire polity is headed for the rock. Doesn't matter. As long as they can benefit from it, okay? He understands that very well. And that is why he can't tell them to stop stealing. He can't tell them he can't stop them from scheming. Do you understand? He can't jail them, because if he starts actually following the law, it simply means he's going to jail all his friends. And he wouldn't do that. To develop Nigeria, to change the way the country is, for somebody who controls the National Assembly, controls the military, controls the judiciary, then controls these gluttons, these political, criminals called governors and lawmakers and the rest of them. He controls them, but he doesn't control them in reverse. They control him. They give him what he wants, which is give him the support that makes him feel like he's actually our leader, is everything. In return, he will look away from our own iniquities. He will have to look away. And our own iniquities contribute to the failure that his government represents. It talks about reforms. It talks about the economy taking turn and the rest. And none of this actually matches the reality. But yet, they praise him. They go to him, they say, oh my God, you've changed our lives. You are so, many people won't see what you're trying to do for us. All those things. All vanity. They are running an economy where nobody can tell how much is Nigeria actually making from the taxes, from the loans, and all. They shield everything they are doing in secrecy. And they come out to tell you how transparent they are, opposite of everything they say they are. And I'm somebody who pay attention to what they do than what they say. Not just what they say, what's allowed. Everybody can talk. But it is what they do that actually really, really matters. So Koolu telling them to cooperate, it's like saying the Supreme Court of the country and its own supposed authority is not really binding. Politicians will have to decide if they want to obey it or not. And why is that? because they have the tradition of choosing, cherry picking, choose and pick which of the court judgment they will obey or not. Supreme Court of the country. And that's where you have found yourself, right? And let's kind of fast forward to today. Every year, they come here, they remind you that they are lying to you. Some people will call me a pessimist, somebody who just would never see anything good in them. I want to see good that they are doing, okay? But the thing is that there is none. Unfortunately, there is none. But people have been so battered. People have been so beaten for decades, right? That sometimes, okay, they just have to make do with whatever is given to them. As effed up as all those kind of things are, you get what I mean? As messed up as they might be, people just still want to say, okay, then the bubble burst. And they're like, they are looking for who to blame. So I've been called enemy of Nigeria, enemy of this, enemy of that. And everything I have pointed out on this platform, they've all come to pass. But nobody came back to say, oh, you did say something about that though. They write budgets every now and then, but it's never really affects you like, positively. Except for when they are planning to take more money from you, squeeze it, and you never know what they do with the money. They roll out these big figures of how much money they are making. There is no root, any kind of a traceable source for them. But guess what? They continue banging them and pushing them until reality will set in. Then when you ask questions, they find another grammar in the book to make you, possibly confuse you. Last year, Tinubu wrote a budget of over 50 trillion naira. 54 trillion, I think. And they gave it a name. It's a prosperity. This is a and we're like, hey, just take a look at what is happening, not what these clowns, these criminals are saying. They are printing money, funding your budget, supposed budget with borrowed money. And at the same time, they are increasing your taxes, increasing this tariff, increasing that tariff. They are declaring so much money as money they actually realized from revenue. But when you now kind of put them side by side, they don't make any sense. You don't even have to be an accountant to know all of that. You just need to pay attention to what they are doing, not what they are saying. Just pay attention and you see through it. And you can easily predict where this is headed. We all know where this is headed. The voodoo economy. 54 trillion naira, they were expecting to raise 40 trillion naira. They projected it, 2025, they will raise 40 trillion naira. And they will do this and that. They went as far as lying to Nigerians that Tinubu has paid off some debts. And therefore, before Tinubu, they were spending 98% of Nigerians' revenue on debt servicing. It was easily sold. And then they said, oh yeah, Tinubu has reduced that to just about 60%. He said it himself publicly, repeatedly. Then go and check the book. Number one, when you try to actually go and look for available information about their own supposed fiscal expenses and the rest of that, right? Then you found nothing. Absolutely nothing. But with the little that you can find, you can easily tell where the lies are. Borrowing, hiding them, using the all these borrowing conditions to further devalue the currency. And all these backdoor dealings that these guys have committed great treasons against Nigeria repeatedly. And it's more or less like a state policy now. So they are now just telling us, because Koolu told us 2 months ago, he bragged about it, in fact, of how much success is, is revenue generation and the rest of that they've been. Oh, we've met our 2025 revenue targets. I was like, oh, stop collecting taxes then. Like, you've met the target, meaning you plan to raise 40 trillion naira. Okay, from the money from crude oil, from money from taxes, from money from this non-oil. He even bragged that non-oil revenue is more than oil revenue. This was 2 months ago. Only for his own Minister of Finance, Economic Planning, to now come out and then say, well, you know what, that's not really true. In fact, we did our best, and the only revenue we could actually really raise, which is like the cash one, was just about 10 trillion naira. How? Asal, what are you talking about? What about that money? So at the end of the day, they are just telling us now that from their projected 2025 revenue, they only made 17.7% of that. 17.7%. And guess what? They've already spent over 80%. That doesn't even reflect in the 2025 budget. So I don't know if this is not even confusing you, right? They are 2025 budget. We plan to raise 40 trillion. At the end of the day, they raised 13 trillion or thereabouts. So far off from what? And in that same space, by the end of November, they've already expended over 20 trillion naira, which is pretty much loan, right? So to cover that up. In that, meanwhile, it's not even like from, hang on, 13 trillion naira generated or collected. They used 9.7 trillion naira from that money to service debts. And their own expenses plus servicing debt all come to a total of over 20 trillion naira. So meaning they have actually used almost like 80% to 80-something% of their own supposed generated revenue in 2025 to service debt. But they hid that from you. They are telling you that how Nigeria can still borrow this or that. Their 2025 budget has performed not 20%, not 30%, not 40%, 17%. And this is December. They are writing 2026 budget, or they've actually submitted one. Tinubu is proposing a 58.4 trillion naira budget for 2026. And with the same mindset, or hoping that by January, when they put to effect that their new tax law, that will generate a lot of money. From where? From who? From you, the poor, which they've told will be exempted anyway, until you will realize that no. Okay? So they presented that budget to them today. Let's go to the National Assembly, where so many of these charlatans, again, were much more there to just sing the on your mandate, they shall buy, right? In break, in part, okay? I'll be, intermittently, right? I will be saying my mind. The first part was when Koolu arrived. I don't want to waste that time because I've got loads of that for you tonight, right? So, Akpabio decided to wet the floor for Tinubu's grand performance. Let's watch this.
Is therefore far more than a compilation of figures. It is, for us, a statement of intent, a reflection of priorities, a record of difficult choices, and a roadmap for the next phase of Nigeria's national renewal. Over the past year, our country has navigated a period of significant transition in the midst of very difficult challenges. Families have felt the strain of rising costs. Businesses have adjusted to a changing economic environment. Young Nigerians have asked hard and legitimate questions about opportunities, fairness, and their place in the nation's future. Insecurity has tested our collective resolve and reminded us that peace is not a gift that we inherit, but a responsibility that we must constantly defend. Yet, history also teaches us something enduring. Nigeria does not retreat in the face of difficulty, Mr. President. We confront difficulties. We confront it with resilience forged in adversity, with faith in our shared destiny, and with an unyielding belief that tomorrow can be better than today. From one generation to the next, this country has survived storms, not by surrendering to despair, but by standing together, reforming what must be reformed, and renewing our commitment to justice.
Nuisance, Lele. Akpabiole. They were all prepared for today. It was a spectacle, you know, telling Nigerians that same thing he told you in 2025 rather, and you possibly know better now. And with what they are planning for you for 2025, I don't think you are ready for it. So they are prepared. Fancy speeches, you know, fancy speeches and other kind of like a word salads. To sound like, yeah, Nigerians don't ever turn back in the face of despair. They confront it. Confront what? The Tinubu says, Shege, you're gonna get you. Probably gonna know better. It's a matter of time. Well, it didn't miss out on the opportunity to remind Tinubu to reinstate the senators or the lawmakers police protection, because they are afraid to go back home since Tinubu withdrew their police protection. That's Akpabiole, by the way.
Very passionately and boldly. Let me say, Mr. President, that the National Assembly is ready for you. We are ready to receive the 2026 budget. We share in all the pains you have gone through in the last 1 year, and we also share in the joys and applause of the reform agenda of your administration. Only one concern, Mr. President. As we direct the security agencies to withdraw policemen from critical areas, some of the National Assembly members said I should let you know that they may not be able to go home today because they will be picking up. So on that note, we plead with the President for a review of the decision. May God bless you. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And may God bless our National Assembly.
So he said Tinubu withdraw policemen from critical areas. So they are the critical areas. So therefore, they will be grateful if he possibly would reinstate the police protection for them, and to make him feel better, to walk him straight to the stage. They had to sing this.
Thank you very much. Please be seated.
So next time you are trying to report Tinubu to the only institution equipped constitutionally to act as a checks and balances for the executive, the legislatures, then you understand what I said. What people generally call the state capture. This is state capture at play, Mayegun. This is what state capture means. That's the right word for it, state capture. It's got the national assembly, it's got this, it's got that. I understand. I am saying that, there could be a positive or good thing if the intention of capturing the country was to develop the country, not to pillage it, not to loot it and terrorize it. Sure, you get. But right now, what you have is, well, the other. So state capture. Anything they want, they give to him. If you want them to vote on anything, they will do it. Like, we are at your service. Whatever you want, you have all the support. Out of 100 and I think 9 senators, with according to Akpabiole, Tinubu now controls maybe about 100 of them. So he's pretty much in charge. There is no opposition to him inside that place, at least as it is currently constituted. They will sing on your mandate. And there's nobody that can actually probably do anything. That's what they said to us, you cannot do anything. What are you going to do about it? Now, to Koolu's impact is supposed budget presentation. So he started with, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable
President, the Speaker, the Vice President, the House, the remarks of the Senate President has gotten me relaxed and happy to be back in a club of great people, great minds, great thinkers, and the essence of our democracy. Members of the cabinet that are here, Your Excellencies, the governors, past and present, members of this honorable hallowed chamber. It's good to be back. To a well-familiar terrain. Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Nigerians, I am here today to fulfill an essential constitutional obligation by presenting the 2026 appropriation bill to this esteemed joint session of the National Assembly for your consideration. Before I go any further, let me be upfront with you. This is a reset, a very hard one. Avoiding abandoned projects, unpaid contractual obligations, and running a multiple budget, both inherited and unfulfilled mandates.
Nuisance, Lele. That's how we're going to kind of start breaking it down. Koolu said, this is budget, is a very, very unique and different one. In fact, it will be the first budget, right, where Nigeria would not be operating 2-3 budgets at a time. Since I have grown up, Nigeria never operated 2-3 budgets in a single year, ever. I have witnessed where they carry over what they call the unfinished project from the last year's budget, from this year's budget. They will carry them to the next year budget. So when you are reading the budget, you are going to mention them. Some ongoing projects from 2025, we are continuing them in 2026 under this arrangement because the payment of this and that, you put them in your budget. That's what is called budgeting. But when Koolu came in, this operating 2-3 budgets in a year started with him. He started it. And it was because of their dubious GPT to manipulate everything, confuse everybody. And the result is what you are witnessing out there. So Nigeria never operated 2-3 budgets in a single year until Tinubu came. So now he wants to do one budget, whereby he will now be able to pay contractors, Baba. They are owing, especially the local contractors who have worked for them in the last 2 years. They have resorted into protesting to get paid. What do you call it? Some of the supposed loans that they have secretly taken, including the ones they even made public, promised to be channeled towards this project, that project. They've never channeled them there. Only for all these same projects they are hyping. Some of them have been hyped in a way that you'll be wondering, like, for example, the coastal highway. Tinubu Coastal Road. Do you see the GPT they actually put in place? I'll tell you. The arrangement was that it was going to be PPP, public-private partnership. So, and it will be segmented, okay, in order to make it, in order for the construction to be like, quick. So segmented means by kilometers. They can say, the first 150 kilometers will be awarded to Mr. Table Water. Sure you get. But the entire project is possibly going to be, let's say, for example, 10 trillion naira. Let's use their own template, 10 trillion naira, right? And they will say, okay, this 10 trillion naira project, we're going to break it into 3 so that the private partners that wants to take on this, construct these roads, who are going to toll the roads for their own money, they will bring, in most cases, they will say they will bring the construction money. They are the ones that will go and source for the money. And you must even have the money before they can say you won the bid to take it. Because you are bringing your money to construct the road. Nigeria didn't have the money. Nigeria still doesn't have the money, by the way. So you are supposed to bring your money, construct the standard road that Nigeria wants, put your toll on it. Here you get, including maintenance. They will now say you are going to run it for the next 25 years. So after that 25 years, you would either renegotiate with Nigeria, or Nigeria will just nationalize it and say, you know what, government is taking it over. We do not want a private, what have you, to hold it anymore. Something that is unlikely anyway. But when Tinubu came, without any bid or anything, he single-handedly awarded the contract to Shaguri. And that's the one that is working with Devolumai. Shaguri brought no single kobo, no penny. So mobilization, Tinubu first say, they don't announce, say they want to do Coastal Road. Tinubu wrote a check of 1.2 trillion naira to Shaguri's company to go and start the road. As of today, Nigeria has paid over 2 trillion naira to this Shaguri company. Like I said, no bid, no nothing, was just like that, no other thing. Enough that they now plan to make it to make it look like they are doing something. 2 trillion naira, over 2. In fact, it was actually 2.8 trillion naira that they have actually paid them in the last 1.5 years. Guess what? You will see them in Lagos. I mean, you see this road in Lagos, the one they have done in Lagos, the one they claim 47 kilometers, right? You see all the street lights, everything there, and all of that. Those are the poster. This is going to be the poster part of the scam. So anytime you want to question the coastal road, right, they will show you the picture from Lagos. 47 kilometers from 700-kilometer road, right? Oh, they have started from Calabar too. Have you not seen that they have started from Calabar? Would you say it is the same tempo they are doing that of Lagos, they are doing that of Calabar that you think they have started? That is the scam. So everything around it is completely right, including the money they are borrowing to claim to be funding that Nigeria is paying. The conditions behind the money they are borrowing to pay for it, nobody knows. It's not public. Do you understand? So 47 kilometers in 1.5 years in a project of 700 kilometers, and they have rolled out drones 3 times already in the last 1 year. Yeah, to celebrate the 47. It is, it is their way. So Koolu now saying that they will pay off everything, because here is another thing. The coastal road is not even in the 2024 budget. It is not in 2025 budget. It's like something they said it is Tinubu's legacy project. Why are you funding something that is completely outside budgetary appropriation and allocation? Because it is Koolu. So that's why you're going to know that when it tells you that from next year they're going to do this, just be ready for another story. And this is why. These are the things that you probably would not mind, or you probably never cared about. But they matter because they are part of the reason why you got here, that they operated 3 budgets in 2025. Only for the main 2025 budget to have 17.7 performance. Do you even understand what that means? 17.7 performance. That simply means more than, especially for capital project. And when we say capital project, we are talking about the real ones around, maybe like rebuilding schools or hospitals and roads, inner roads and all of that stuff, right? They suffered so much that Nigeria couldn't pay 83% of that contractors and their money. 83%. That's a failure. But Koolu is promising that no, all of that will be concluded in March. The question is with which money? The money they couldn't make from January to December to fund the budget. Now they want to close the budget in March, in 3 months' time. And suddenly they're going to get that money. When they've already confessed themselves that in 2023 they could only receive just cash flow of 13 trillion naira. So where is everything coming from? If you sit down, the reason people feels like that's too much. Papa, I don't get time for all of that. But you listen to Koolu and you believe him, or you listen to all these criminals or these clowns and you believe them because they said it, Abi. Oh yeah, he's talking about this is listen.
This is a reset, a very hard one. Avoiding abandoned projects, unpaid contractual obligations, and running a multiple budget, both inherited and unfulfilled mandates. It's a problem staring the nation. So we are terminating the habit of running 3 budgets on one inflow. By March 31st, 2026, all capital liabilities from previous years will be fully funded and closed. From April, Nigeria operates on a single budget backed by a single revenue cycle. No overlaps, no excuses, no rollovers culture.
They clapped. They actually clapped for him. But in reality, if you can't reason now, 2025 budget performed by 17.7%. That's a whooping 82.3%. That's something they couldn't do as at the close of business on the 31st, or so on the 30th of November. So now, what they couldn't fund for the whole year is telling them there that it will be funded, fully funded by March. And if me, I'm asking out that with which money, with what money? If you understand what they have actually made public, the lies and then the truth. So are they going to suddenly get some? I know he's planning to borrow 23 trillion naira. You get me now? But I don't think they've succeeded in getting that, because it was meant to have been part of money they must have used for 2025 budgets. So where is he going to get that, the rest of the money from? And at the same time, it simply means the 2026 budget will not fully come into effect until April. Again, which money are they going to, or are they planning? Maybe, who knows? Maybe they've actually perfected again, like they did in 2024. I'm a voodoo economist, though. Like they did in 2024. They projected that they will be able to make up to 40 trillion. And they are always declaring this custom made 11 trillion. Can made 4 trillion. Can made trillion. I say figgy, everything, man. All lies. So now the same set of people where you have Kadobi, Oduduwa, Emefiole, Wale Idun, and the rest of all these clowns who are always like, oh, of course, they always have all the grammar they can use for you. The economic, fiscal permutation that tumbles on the overhill of that bomb of, if you just like, what is he talking about? Say, I don't know, you don't understand. He's talking accounts, he's talking numbers. No, he's talking rubbish. Those are the guys who cooked this same book for Tinubu, right? I mean, not the same guys who believes that maybe this is their new tax law. This new tax law. Yes, we use this new tax law. How much did we make in 2024, sir? So they said we made 15 trillion. 15 trillion. No. How much did you make in 2025, sir? 13 trillion. See, this new tax law, once it goes to effect, in the first 3 months, you make 20 trillion. Maybe that's what they are banking on. Because they have actually forged the tax law that they signed. Is the one they want to implement, they want to execute from January. It's a forged one. The controversy around that is currently being buried, and it will probably be buried. That could be the catalyst that will likely make this your Mirage 2027 charade never to happen. In Bulgaria, where the government got tumbled, because of national protest. It was because of this same tax thing, You know what I mean? But that of Nigeria is even worse. Now they have inserted the National Assembly that passed a tax law. One of them is now saying it is a different version, a version that Tinubu is as gazetted as the law. Inside that one, the PRS will put you for jail. You dey feel me? They can take your property because of this tax issue. They can take your property and just you would have to go and fight for it. So they are going to implement an aggressive tax collection, and that may trigger something because aggressive collection of taxes from the poverty capital of the world, I don't think it's actually going to be that easy. But to Tinubu and his gang, he must be banking on that so that what they couldn't get in 2025 to fund the 2025 budget, they may get it in 3 months and fund the 2025, or like the inflation. They may just come back in February and say, ladies and gentlemen, 2025 budget is now fully implemented. Who you go ask, say, here not true, I've been a lie. The same way you are currently discussing inflation figure, food inflation, what else again? They will get you confused. They are that shameless, unaccountable. Do you get what I mean? Then they will just wake up and say, Mr. President, you said it and you did it. They'll just cook the book and tell you that everything is now cleared. So if you now come back later and say that you are among the contractors they've not paid since 2024, they will say now opposition, they pay you to go and, spoil Tinubu's name, because Tinubu has cleared the budget and he's done everything he said he would do. They will cook the book, throw it at you. And where are you going to go to possibly, debunk it or get something to, But here is Koolu. He's now talking about money here.
Its part and play it effectively. Mr. Chairman and fellow Nigerians, the 2026 budget is guided by 4 clear objectives. 1, consolidate macroeconomic stability, improve the businesses and business environment, investment environment, and all of that together. Promote job-rich growth and reduce poverty, and strengthen human capital development while protecting the vulnerable. In short, we will spend with purpose, manage debt with discipline, and pursue broad-based sustainable growth. Distinguished leaders or members, the 2026 federal budget is anchored on realism, prudence, and growth. The key aggregates are as follows. Expected total revenue is 34.33 trillion naira. Projected total expenditure is 58.18 trillion naira, including 15.52 trillion naira for debt servicing. Recurrent non-debt expenditure is 15.2 trillion naira. Capital expenditure will be 26.08 trillion. The budget deficit is expected to be 23.85 trillion naira, representing just 4.28% of our GDP. These numbers are not mere accounting.
Nuisance, Lele. I can't kind of let him continue because I may forget. Did you just hear when he said the deficit of the budget of 58 trillion? He said the deficit was 23 point something trillion naira. So how does 23 trillion less, how does 58 trillion less 23 trillion, 4%? That's what that's what I've been saying, where they will boldly tell these stupid lies, and it's not actually lies. I don't know what to put it at. Like, you want to spend, let me explain what deficit means to those who probably don't grab it. You have a budget of 58 trillion. Now, from that 58 trillion, you are hoping to raise and generate 34 trillion. So 34 trillion minus 58 trillion, sorry, 58 trillion minus 34 trillion. That leaves you at 24 trillion, Abi. Maybe those point. That's what made it 23 point something, right? So 23 point something trillion naira is money you don't have. You want to spend 58 naira. You are expecting to make 34 naira that you will spend on your 58, to fulfill your 58 naira. You are running short of 24 naira. So what are you going to do with that 24, to get that 24 naira? Because you don't have it. So I may be very kind of like a terrible when it comes to this mathematics and all that, right? But please help me. That can be 4%. If 10% of 58 is 5.4, I'm sorry, 5.8. So how can 23 be 4%? That's what I'm saying. And that's what they put in the book. But here, I think I have a graphic image of the budget here. Okay. So this is what Koolu is proposing. Although by the time it comes out, it probably is going to cross over 60-something trillion. That's what they normally do. All right. So Tinubu is lying that Nigeria is Nigeria is currently pumping 1.8 million, 1.8 million a barrel of crude oil every day. Now, this is like somebody who is lying to himself and at the same time is believing the lies too. Nigeria oil production still stood at 1.3 trillion, 3 million barrels a day. But it's been projecting that they are going to do 1.8, they are going to do 2 million. And they haven't. Now, it's already put that in their budget, right? With the benchmark of $64.85 per barrel. Okay? Their exchange rate is put at 1,400 naira to $1. Now, all these figures at the top of this table, right? None of them is real figure. None of them. But that's what they are building the budget of a country on. This is it. Okay? Then to how they are going to pick your pockets, including their expected tax, this tax, that, okay? Debt, okay, 23.85 trillion is the deficit. And inside this, right, they are also planning to spend to like fund their debt servicing is called. And it's as it stands, Koolu and his gang, right? Oh, sorry, not the tax law yet. I wanted to show you that one. Maybe I should show you later. You get me now? When people made efforts to go track what the supposed Central Bank of Nigeria or the Ministry of Finance put out to try to check and correlate what they claimed to have generated and what they are paying on debt. And none of these figures matches what Tinubu and his ministers are pushing out there deliberately because they know Nigerians won't check them out, right? So they are running a scheme, a voodoo economy. And I don't know how many of you probably believe that there's going to be any turnaround from that. Indeed. But eventually they're going to blame it on somebody else. Let him finish.
Doctrine.
This is the one I kind of also find a little bit kind of like, overreaching in their hypocrisy, in his hypocrisy, whoever put up this script. So Koolu said they will be, on the one hand, he said he's not, it won't augur well for Nigeria to actually kill terrorists, as the National Assembly is currently proposing, right? That the kidnappers, the bandits, as they call them, the Boko Haram and the rest of them, they will be classed as terrorists or terrorist organizations, and they will be treated the same with punishment as what do you call it, death sentence. So if you are convicted of the crime of this, right, you would receive a death sentence. So Koolu doesn't want that. But on the other hand, he was like, no, we're going to approach them differently now, okay? And they will be treated as terrorists. I don't understand. Like, if you arrest them, how do you treat them as terrorists so then have to use a law to jail them or to execute them, isn't it? But Koolu.
Doctrine will fundamentally change how we confront terrorism and other violent crimes. Under this new architecture, any armed group or gun-wielding non-state actors operating outside the state authority will be regarded as terrorists. Bandits, militia, armed gangs, armed robbers, violent cults, forest-based armed groups, and foreign-linked mercenaries will all be targeted. We will go after all those who perpetrated violence for political or sectarian ends, along with those who finance and facilitate their evil schemes.
Again, just words until you actually see the action. It is reported recently, just 2 days ago, Remember those people arrested, those guys arrested by soldiers, by soldiers in Ifelodun local government area of Kwara State, then confessed that their guns and everything they found on them were, they were given to them by people in government, Kwara State government. Well, they turned out to be members of Miyetti Allah. And then it also turned out that the Office of the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, that is Office of Ribadu, approved guns or arming of some Miyetti Allah, some Fulanis. Therefore, while they control what you can have access to defend your family, to defend your own communities, Office of Ribadu is issuing tons of guns, right? Ribadu was arming the Miyetti Allahs. And this is not actually like, a rumor. It's been confirmed. So most of the guns you see with these Fulanis, for those who identify as Miyetti Allah, and those who got the guns and didn't identify as Miyetti Allah, the Office of the National Security Advisor of Nigeria is giving guns to the same people Tinubu said called state actors. Let that sink in, right? Let that sink in. To Akpabiole, majority of you may have all these opinions, including myself, about Tinubu and how they are running Nigeria, but that is not their own fault. That you are not seeing it the way other people are seeing it, because as of today, almost everyone that was on the other side to Tinubu wanted to be inside with Tinubu now. And he can attest to that as a Senate president, using the Senate chamber, Senate house or so as a reference.
Stakeholders coming in from other political parties must be given equal opportunities to thrive. There must not be any discrimination. Do your best not to leave anybody behind. In the Senate, we are doing our best to ensure that we carry the Senate as one, irrespective of political party. And I can confirm to you that when we came in, the opposition had almost 50 members. But today, when I counted, there are about 5 or 4 left in the opposition. And even those 5 members have whispered to me that I should carry them to the president, the leader of the party, that they are prepared to join the APC. Mr. President, I will soon bring some of them. I don't want to run a Senate without any opposition. So because of that, I have intentionally, I'm reporting to the caucus, allowed the APC members who have declared in their states, who are yet to declare in the Senate, to continue in the minority caucus. Otherwise, that place would have been empty. And so I thank Governor Peter Mba for allowing our Senator Ositangu to continue to maintain the position of the Chief Whip of the minority for today. Thank you, Your Excellency. Otherwise, the place would have been empty. So as we grow, there will be envy, there will be jealousy. And with jealousy comes hatred. And with hatred comes challenges. So, Mr. President, ours in this caucus today is to assure you that we are not only with you, we are also praying for you. Praying for you to overcome the challenges of the day is also praying for Nigeria. We are very sad that people have decided to torment Nigeria with very serious organized and orchestrated insecurity. We align ourselves with states that are mourning as a result of the loss of lives occasioned by terrorists, by bandits, and by insurgents. We thank the President for the release of over 100 children who were kidnapped very recently, and we pray to God to give him the ability and the enablement to release the remaining children. Stakeholders.
Welcome to Nigeria. People are jealous of us. It's not a problem that, you know what I mean? We are in power. We are the one everybody is coming to. So we accommodate those we can accommodate. We carry them along. And we still leave some out there so that it, doesn't really kind of look too obvious that you are running a one-party state or you are headed for one. So if you complain, it's because you are jealous, and because you are jealous of them, then you started hating them. When you talk about them, when you out them in anything, it may be coming from the position of jealousy and hatred. Oh, it's because they hate us. It's not because we are doing bad. It's not because that a terrorist took 315 school children from their dormitory and it never actually caused any national uproar. It never really moved the same political class. They are not shaking, nothing. Not to worry that, oh my God, this has ruined our opportunity for next election, or how our party will suffer this. No, they're not bothered. They are praying to God to give Tinubu energy to rescue the rest of the children. And for the states who are suffering from one calamity or the other because of terrorism, because of bandits and the rest of them, we pray to God to give President the energy to, they don't care. No, they don't. I wouldn't say sad. Hopeless Uzodingba even went further to say, oh, because things are not really the way some people want it to be. So this opposition want to take advantage of that. Mr. President, don't listen to them. We are with you.
And the urgent need of interventions in the form of far-reaching reforms. It was clear that only a sincere and intentional leader of steel with courage to implement policies that will make Nigeria take its right pride of place in the Committee of Nations was needed. And this would require abolishing the petrol subsidy and eradicating the currency racketeering that was bleeding the nation's economy to death, among other measures. We know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, simply took the bull by the horn on May 29, 2023, as soon as he assumed office, and courageously rolled out the policies needed to salvage our fragile, dying national economy. We regret, honestly, that opposition elements have been trying to misrepresent the truth during the healing process that followed the visionary and transformative reforms of Mr. President, telling Nigerians that the reforms are designed to hurt the citizens. This is the height of hypocrisy. It is an irony that politicians who also contested elections to become the president of Nigeria, in their manifestos made promises to undertake the same reforms if elected into office. The same people are the ones now trying to weaponize the implementation of the policies in the name of opposition politics. We are glad that Mr. President has refused to be distracted. We are also glad that Mr. President's fire for fire approach to insecurity is bearing fruits. Specifically, the lightning-fast rescue of the kidnapped victims in Kebbi State, in Kwara State, and in Niger States, which stands in a sharp contrast.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú. Ó jọ ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
Sycophants that surrounds Koolu. We are glad that Tinubu's reform is yielding results. Tinubu's action on insecurity is yielding results. People around him. Sometimes you'll be wondering and say, well, is he not living in the country too? These are also the characters around the Bokwari. When Bokwari was on the verge of destroying Nigeria, they were telling him he was doing fine. You know, that those who didn't agree, they were just enemy of Nigeria, only for these same criminals. Few days after Bokwari left, they started talking about how Nigeria is so bad. If not for that, Tinubu came. You understand that Nigeria is so bad. Who destroyed Nigeria? That Tinubu had to fix it. So they are like, man. So they now told us that that's how it works in that ass old rock. You get me? They said that when Bokwari was there, Oshiomole, the guy that just published a book about Bokwari, yeah, he just said something about cabals. He said the cabals around the Bokwari. This is going to be like the third time I'm actually hearing this, all right? So maybe he worked with Bokwari, so you know. So he's talking about cabals around these guys. That they were so good that they were curating Bokwari's newspaper. Yeah. Do you understand what that means, right? Don't worry, I'll tell you. When you go to the newsstand to buy a copy of Daily, right? And you understand that if you go to newsstand in Lagos to buy the Nation newspaper for today, and the other people go to Abuja newsstand or Owerri newsstand, they are all going to get the same contents. Yeah? Yeah, you're going to get the same content when it sees national dailies. But when it comes to Bokwari, they add a different curated copies that pretty much just praising the government. People so happy. Economy getting better, improving. Here you get headlines, everything different. And they said because Bokwari loves cartoon, they will make caricature cartoons of, here you get, to just put in between. Like they are curating newspapers for Bokwari. So while the rest of you are reading different newspapers about what's going on in the country, he is reading a different one, telling him a different thing. And those around him ensured of that. I didn't say it. Maybe I should put it properly, the way he said it.
Perhaps what you ran away from easily here, what maybe you didn't capture or maybe I have not read, was how Buhari was comfortably able to allow people to run riots in their offices without... I mean, I've had minister on this program who said, in my years of serving Buhari, he never asked me a question about my role as a minister. That we didn't see much of here.
Well, two things. Number one, this book is not about policy, Buhari policy. It's about the man, Buhari. So reference to policies is as it relates to his thinking, about what he was thinking around that policy rather than the policy itself. Now the thing is this: Buhari by nature he delegates. Once he delegates, he allows you to do the work. But the problem, what people don't understand, is that a lot of what he believed was going on was curated by people around him. I mean, for example, there are things I actually did not include in the book that I felt were probably too hot to put in the book.
Like what? The subject matter. Without having to state the details if they are difficult.
Okay. For example, one of the things about Buhari is that he loved reading newspapers. Everybody knows that, right from the early days. He was a newspaper man, and there were reports that the cabal went to the extent of curating his own newspaper for him.
A version of the newspaper.
Yes, that would plant stories they want him to read.
And and perhaps, there are those who even say that this happened to not only President Buhari, that in fact it may be happening to the present president, that he may not be seeing the actual news, and he may not be reading the actual newspaper, and that leaders in that form and shape and height get to the point of being fed with whatever those who are around him and managing them wanted.
That is true. The challenge, of course, with someone like Buhari is there's one overarching cabal. But in the current government, there are multiple cabals, and that, I think, has its plus and minus in the sense.
So there's a possibility that a president may not know what is happening in the country for 3 days.
Of course.
Because everything is teleguided.
Even the channels he watches. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Everything is
teleguided, is being managed in a way that those who are around him. And that's why the name of Tunde Sabiu, for example, came up as his level of education, his experience, those who, they say, controlled what went on, who saw the president, what kind of, in fact, the daughter of the president wrote, who somewhat is, what's it called?
Auditor.
Yeah, and went and discovered that some of the signatures of the president in documents were forged.
That's correct.
And that's how powerful some of the people around the president. So it's not the fault of some of these presidents sometimes. It could be the fault of those who are managing them, is it?
That is true. I mean, the thing is,
Sheung likes to kind of like mumbo jumbo things unnecessarily sometimes, right? But yeah, we have heard that too. How they manage to, but that's kind of like some BS though. I mean, it's some BS because to be president of a country, you're actually going to, number one, you are living in the country. Before you become president, meaning like they're not curating the news you're accessing, right? Not really. Okay. You've got families around you too. Okay. And then you met people, different kinds of people on your campaign trail, right? That gives you an idea of what this country is. Not just that, you actually have the good grasp, understanding of every part of the country, economy or security or the people, the language or the culture or the tradition. You get to know everything. Very important. And you know why you have to know everything? I mean, how you can know everything is because in that capacity, right, you have part of staff, advisors, this and that. But it is only in Nigeria that they will have over 13,000 political appointees advising the president, and he will never meet them. Yeah, we've had people who were with Bokwari for 8 years, and they never had one-on-one with him for once for that 8 years. Do you get what I mean? So it's crazy though, right? Somebody like Traore will be like, no, don't believe that nonsense. They know what is going on. They know what they want to know. It's basically what they want to know. And they choose to not know what they don't want to know. You know? And I believe Traore over them. So Tinubu's cabal, who are they? How many?
But in the current government, there are multiple cabals. And that, I think, has its plus and minus in the sense.
So there's a possibility that a president may not know what is happening in the country for 3 days.
Of course.
Because everything is teleguided.
Even the channels he watches. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Everything is
teleguided, is being managed in a way that those who are around him. And that's why the name of Tunde Sabiu, for example, came up as his level of education, his experience, those who, they say, controlled what went on, who saw the president, what kind of, in fact, the daughter of the president wrote, who somewhat is, what's it called?
Auditor.
Yeah, and went and discovered that some of the signatures of the president in documents were forged.
That's correct.
And that's how powerful some of the people around the president. So it's not the fault of some of these presidents sometimes. It could be the fault of those who are managing them, is it?
That is true. I mean, the thing is, president will always have people around him. But you need to put systems in place to avoid state capture or presidential capture, as if for want of a better word. Because, for example, the current government have, from what I can see, at least 5 cabals.
Within the presidency?
Yes. And the interesting thing about one of the cabals actually is headed by the president himself, based on my own analysis. Because if you're looking at the word cabal are people who have proximity to power and who have the ability to influence policy and decisions. You know, so in this current administration, you have at least 5 groups, all fighting.
Who are these groups?
Okay, if you're talking about the 5 groups, number 1, there is the Chief of Staff group.
That's Miller.
Yes, and by that I mean not just him, people who are in close circle.
In that, yeah.
You had Wiki to that, you had NSA to that, and you know people who are in the circle. That's one. Number 2, you have the Sheikh Tinubu's, you know, pathway. That's another circle.
The boy is that powerful.
Oh yes, and also people he helped to put in government. So that forms another group. The third group, of course, is the First Lady. You can't rule that out. You know, she has her own team. You know, the fourth group is a group of the young Turks around the president, the principal private secretary, the AO, you know, the CSO. Those ones that control access. You know, those ones, you know, that they form their own cabal. And then the fifth cabal, which the president head himself, actually are what I call the geriatrics. There are quite a few old people that have influence on the
that he listens to.
So
some of them, I understand, some of them are even complaining that I've not seen him in a long time. They are not allowing us to see him.
No, what you see there is a conflict of cabal. You know, part of the danger of having multiple cabals like that is decision making is slower. Because once one cabal pushes a decision, the others fight against it. And then, you know, it takes a while for the man to make a decision.
And there's a problem. Whoever gets to the president first, and when he hears the story and take action, probably will get the upper hand.
I think that's a problem generally with old people, generally. You know, I mean, for those of us who have old people in the family, the first person to report tends to be the innocent party. You know, but in the current government,
the government of gerontocracy, the government of geriatrics by the geriatrics for the geriatrics, I think. But that's not gerontocracy. Gerontocracy is actually greedy. You know, it's like the greed of few. Cabals. I thought he won't list them. I would have listed 3. I wouldn't have put Rebadu in the same camp with Gbajabiamila, but he was right. Gbajabiamila is responsible for all the political appointments made through the office of Tinubu. Do you understand? Everyone working for Tinubu got employed by Gbajabiamila. Everyone working for Hitman got employed by Oshi-omo-ole. But there are those, like they said, there are those who have the influence of influencing some certain decisions here and there. Then we all know that Remy, you know, Rat also kind of like controls her own space. Yeah, she's got her own power. And Sheyi influenced at least the appointment of 2 ministers in his father's government and several other appointments that, well, he influenced, you know. But the bottom line is that, as it's always been, okay, so the bottom line is that none of this serves the interest of Nigerians. None of it. You know, cabals left, right, and center. I don't know how recent this is, right? If they have to ask Nigerians. Say no to violence and say no to vandalism. That happened in Niger State, of course. So the BC state. So that's why some people are saying if things continues as they are, by the time you have that your charade election, right? It may be the last election you're going to have, if you ever had it, by the way. If things continue like this, because they might use the media or even the military to suppress the real anger out there, okay? But they may not be able to buy it. They are doing constitutional amendments right now. Do you know that? Yeah, they are. So the constitutional amendment, which also includes electoral act amendments too. Sure, you get to that. Is going to guide against your next election. So today at their national, at their House of Representatives, okay. So they were like, amending the act, your electoral act. They're amending it like, section by section, part by part, whatever. So when they got to the part where what should happen to election, those who are buying elections, they have a name for them. Yeah. Should they make it a crime for anyone who buys or pays for election or collects money for election should go to jail? Majority of them rejected it. No. Because if you put that in the law, that means we have to start explaining what constitutes bribe. Do you mean if I share goodies to my supporters and people and all of that, you're going to arrest me for what? Or if I give money, you know what I mean? They summarily rejected that. So that means your 2027 charade and the pathway to your 2027 charade is being laid by these rogues right now, even though you may have so many distractions around. But let's go into what happened after Tinubu left the National Assembly. This time he's not reading it. So therefore, you can have enough of his gaffes, okay? So he's addressing again, like he did last night. So he's addressing his party members, governors, and the rest of them about why they must make sure that they actually deliver something to the people, all right? And let the state police, let local government autonomy, let it come to pass. But it is not just that message. It is how he delivered it. And, a constant oath, like, that time when he did the 60s, 30s, 43% unemployed. Yeah. Give them, you remember, recruit 50 million youth. He actually did the same in this part. We're almost done, okay? But this is the not so boring part. The African Wahala. Thank you. Thank you very much. I actually got your message just now on my paper. Bless you, Prince. And the same goes for, hey, somebody just bought me coffee. M King. Bless you, Baba. So you got me a lot of cups of coffee. I appreciate that, okay? So, Koolu.
I, as one leader, must say thank you very much. Listen to the vote of confidence from the Governor General. Listen to the party chairman. Listen to the vice president. Listen to the speaker. Listen, the honorable speaker. Listen to the Senate president. It is encouraging to just stand here, say good night, and we'll go to sleep. But our job is not done. We must continue to remind ourselves what the data means for us. God got us here. I am a symbol of that God. Because without him, I won't be here. I can say the governor of Yobe and many of his colleagues and partners, they knew the obstacle on my way. Obasanjo can testify to that. There was a wide bush fire, the currency redesigning, the queue, and the petrol station. Call that people died, not able to have 1 meal a day because of lack of money. Just for one election. So, if you are truly a believer in God's job, in God's work, let us thank God. Let us be faithful to our words. We must continue to be resolute that this democracy that we take in our hands must not fail. See, we say we are bigger, yes, we are larger, and we are taller. But it is in our hand now to be accommodating. That's the only way we can be received. Be tolerant. Move a little bit. Okay, if you have a huge living room as big as this, create a little bit of room for your neighbor who is outside or is just coming in. The rain that is driving that neighbor will not beat that neighborhood dead.
That's the part, sorry, that's the part I want you to hear. Now only Koolu, they give, what do you call it? It will be like, they give you some proverbs that will crack you up. Like, what the heck is it even trying to say? It was only, I mean, it's only Koolu. It was him who said, a dead fish cannot be sweet or cannot swim again because they are dead. What? Now, the rain beating your neighbor's head. Oh, sorry, how did he say it? Go. It's very tough to quote Koolu. You know what I mean? Say it again.
Be tolerant. Move a little bit. Okay, if you have a huge living room as big as this, create a little bit of room for your neighbor who is outside or is just coming in. The rain that is driving that neighbor will not beat that neighborhood dead.
the rain driving that neighbor head. No, sorry, the rain driving that neighbor will not beat that neighbor dead. God damn it, man. Koolu, come on, man. Joe now. Eh? That's like Koolu Joe now. Joe Makpami now. Yeah. Anyway, he was talking to his party members again. They are doing convention inside the Aso Rock. So, but let's go to another one. What he said again.
No regrets. If you emulate it and continue to pray, if you listen to yourself, because there will be moments that you'll be quiet and thinking, and you tell yourself the truth. Leading a very, very big party like this will not be a joke. We are all in the back. Carefully. So I've addressed the state, the local government, and world level. Just be expandable. Help. And we can easily, rely on the existing governors. But what about the states where we have no governors? The party must be careful.
When they finish, may they try clean this part of Abuja, because this is Abuja.
I actually took my time to delay going out as early as possible to work today, because I wanted to take this video and voice out my concern about this particular issue of refuse on the road, dumping refuse on the road. Seriously, this is a very, very, very bad issue. Very, very bad issue. I know all of you knows, and we all know that Wike is really doing well in Abuja. He's doing well, most especially in the infrastructural aspects. But seriously, Abuja is becoming dirty, very, very dirty. You can see from this video that this refuse, this dump have covered almost a complete lane, which only allows one car passing through it. This is very, very...
If you are familiar with Abuja, sure you get, you can call with a wiki to order, okay, to call his attention to do something. It's just I am going to actually call the attention of a Koolu right now. You call the attention of a Koolu to this community in Kogi, Ayetoro Kiri, in Kababonu local government area of Kogi State, right? Because of this insecurity, this is what their community looks like now.
Everywhere, no people even know. Everybody don't park on out. See, everywhere is locked. So when I help us, they don't scatter our village. They don't scatter our village. We don't know what we don't know what you want to do again. No. See everywhere. See how they break all those windows. See. So when I say like this, see, no one, all of us don't park on for village. See, you see all this door, everywhere don't close. See, you see. So we don't tire though. We don't know what you're gonna do. All these bandits, they don't fire our village. See, everywhere. See. All people don't pack on months. You don't know what you want to do again. See, just was now on Sunday, 14th of December, they enter our village. See everywhere. See, people don't pack on months. They don't carry people go inside bush. Like almost close to 40 people. They don't pack them go. So we don't know what you want to go. We not help us. See our village. See our village. Now only far see. Now only far you can see. See. Everybody don't go. See this place. So we don't tired though. Everywhere.
God help us. As they are saying that come and help us, so well, that's just the latest from other hundreds of communities who are suffering the same thing as we speak. Let's call it a night. Thank you very much for your time, brethren. As always, right? Enjoy the rest of the evening. And don't forget, like the broadcast if you haven't already. I will see you another time. Godaro.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ̀lú ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.